Well, hello, welcome again to a reading of Odyssey Book 4, and I got up last time to line 425 of this fairly long book. Hos epus hupaponton edusata kumainonta. And thus speaking, in the context here, Menelaus has been speaking with the daughter of the old man of the sea, who has told him how he can capture her father, who is the old man of the sea, so that he might give information as to how he might get off the island. So thus having spoken, this is from Duno, it's imperfect, so she began to dive under the sea, which is Kumainonta. Well, this is making a wave making, or swelling, or choppy sea perhaps. Arta egon epineas, but I, you get an extra nu here just for because you've got two vowels, but I understand, no, not understand, here it is here, aia, I began to go, I made my way to the ships, where, yeah, this is slightly tricky here, it is Hothi, I think, with an iota elided, so where they stood in the sand. So they've been beached, these ships, I think. Polydemoi cradie porphyre chionti. This is known as metathesis. It's normally, the word is cardia, the heart, but you get a swapping of consonant and vowel, and this happens in Ionic, happens in poetry, for the sake of metre, I think, generally. But so this makes the alpha short. If it was cardio, it would be long. So my heart. Now the verb here, porphyre, is a funny verb, but you might recognise it as something to do with the colour purple, or porphyry. This is a verb here. In fact, it means was troubled, was churned up. It's originally used of the sea, and hence the colour reference to the darkness, the purple of the sea, the dark colour of the sea. It's really here, it's a reduplicated form of the verb furo, which means, I think, to mix. And this Apollo's adverbial, and then with moi we get chionti. So my heart for me, as I was going, was very much porphyre, churned up. Auter epe repi nea katelathon Eidothea. But when I came down to the ship and to the sea, dorpon thoplis sameths, we, and it changes to plural here, we had prepared the dinner, the supper, the dorpon, and ambrosial night, well, holy night, ambrosial night, divine night, came down upon us. This is again this Eidothea, this Aeolic form from Aelthon. De poti, and then at that time, de toti. Then at that time we slept on the Ragmina, from Rag Miss, on the shore of the sea. Amos, but when newly born rosy-fingered dawn arose, this is the standard line in Homer, when she arose, kaitoti, at that time, indeed, there's the aya again, I made my way beside the shore of the Euriporoia sea. Now, Euriporoia is something with broad ways, so perhaps expansive might be good there. So I made my way at that time then beside the shore of the expansive sea, and I was, Apollo again adverbial, gunumenos, this is a participle here, from another form, from the verb gunasdamai is the normal form. It means to go onto your knees, so beseeching muchly the gods. So I went down along the shore, the expansive shore, supplicating muchly the gods. But, or almost then, agone, this is imperfect from ago without augment, I was leading on my three hetairus, my three comrades, companions, in whom, pepoithea. This is a funny form. It's a first person pluperfect. In fact, this form only appears twice in the Odyssey. So whom especially I trusted, pasan ep ithun, in every adventure or enterprise. Again, slightly idiomatic expression here, which is not that common. So in whom most of all I had trusted, in other words in the past, in each adventure or enterprise. Tophradar heg hupadusa thalases uria kolpon tessera furcaon ek pontu dermat enake. And so now we get a Tophra. So meanwhile, I think she, this again refers back to the daughter of the old man of the sea. So she, having dived down to the broad gulf of the sea, Aineka, this is for it's connected with Aininkon. It's the aorist, it's an epic aorist form from Pharaoh. So she brought 4, and it goes with the dermata, these are skins of seals from the sea. Panta desan neodata, and they were, that's for asan unaugmented, they were all neodata. Well, it means newly flayed, so they've been newly skinned. I think there's a verb daramai to skin. So they were all newly skinned or flayed, and Epimedato, she planned or plotted a dolon, a trick against her father, Patri. Unas den psamathoisi diaglapsas heliesin hastomenus. Now this is a feminine participle here. Diaglaps, so it's something like to scoop. So she had scooped out beds, or perhaps lairs, in the sands, in the sea sands. So she'd scooped out some beds in the sea sand, and she sat there, Hasto from Hamai, Menus waiting for him. Hames de malaskedon aelthomen artes, but we came very near to her. Give genitive after skedon. So we came very near to her. Hex aes eunase. And she put us to bed, hexace, something like one at a time. So she made us to lie down, each in turn. Balin depiderma hekasto, and the epi goes with the bellow. So she threw up on top of each one derma a skin. These are the seal skins. Now we get a little bit of sort of fairly grim humour in Homer. Very rarely we get a little taste of it here. Entheken einotatos lokos epleto, and there it would have been a einotatos, a most ghastly lokos, place of ambush. So this would have been an absolutely ghastly ambush. We get explanatory gar. Terega einos, for terribly, we'll have to hold the verb for a second, for terribly, because the subject's on the next page here, so terribly, the most destructive smell of the sea-nourished, the Phocaeon, these are the seals, and then Teire from the previous page, well, it's something like distressed us, to put it probably politely. So this would have been, so there would have been the most dreadful ambush, or place of ambush, for the most destructive smell of the sea-nourished seals, Teire, distressed us. And then again, this rather funny little line here, for who would sleep, this is an optative here, it's a aorist passive optative, it's almost causative, who would be caused to sleep beside a sea monster, a kertos, or a sea beast, sea animal. Kertos is a funny word, it simply means often used of a large animal. It's used in the book of Jonah, for example, of the whale, although there's debates about whether it means a whale, but that's the word used here, kertos. It just means a big sea monster. You'll see it again also, of course, in Lucian's True History. So anyway, for who would, in other words, who would want to sleep beside one of these sea monsters? But she, saosa, this is again from connected with sozo, it's another verb similar to same root as sozo, but she kept us safe, and she devised meg onea, a great boon. This is something to, it's connected with oninemi, is the verb, a great boon, a great assistance or help. Ambrosian huperina casto thega perusa. So bringing ambrosia, this is this divine substance that has a bit of the gods have, so bringing ambrosia, she placed it under the nose for each man. Hadumala penu usan, and it's agreeing back with ambrosia, the ambrosia which was smelling very sweetly. Ola sadet Katios Odman, and it destroyed, literally, it removed the smell of the sea monster, the kertos. Kertos is a third declension neuter noun, as you probably see from up here. Passand or a oyen menomen tetleotithumo, and we waited for the whole aoyen. Well, it means morning. It's a fairly rare word, so we waited all the morning. Tetleoti, this is a dative participle. It's from telao, to endure. So with enduring heart, or with steadfast heart. But the foci, these are the seals, came aolees, in a group all together, ex halos, from the sea, and they, now they're feminine because foci is feminine, and they then eunasdonto, they went to sleep hexase, in a row perhaps for the hexase, it's in turn, so one after the other, perhaps in a row, beside the shore of the sea. Endios de hogeron eilth ex halos, and the old man, endios, a word meaning at noon, at midday, so he came from the sea, and he found the seals, who were tsar trephias. I think that the tsar is equivalent to deer, which is, it strengthens a word, and the tref root here, so the well-nourished seals. So he found the well-nourished seals, I think it's what it means. I didn't look that one up, but and he went among them. This is from ep oikomai. So he went to around all of them. Lector darithmon. Now this lector is a funny form here. It's from legomai, in the sense of to reckon. So it's literally he reckoned their number. In other words, he counted them. This is an apocryphated or some kind of syncopated or apocrypated form of the second aorist from legami, and the gamma turns into an unvoiced guttural before the unvoiced dental. So he made a count of them. So he told their number, he counted them. Endehemus protus lege catesin. This must be imperfect again, so and it's connected with this here again, so it's this lego in the sense of to speak, to count the number. So he counted us first among the beasts, among the sea creatures. Udi tithumo o isthe dolonenai, nor, now this is from oiamai, again it's this aorist passive for middle, so he's just from oiamai, so he suspected, neither did he suspect tit dolon, any guileful thing in his soul, anai, to have taken place, to be. So he didn't suspect that there was any guile, didn't suspect in his heart that there was any guile, but afterwards he also, lector, so this again is the same lector up here, he made the count. But so when he also had made the count, and afterwards then I should say, he also made the count, and we, Iacontes, crying out, Epesumeth, from Episua, we rushed against him, Amphidiceras balomen, again it's probably imperfect, here we began to cast our hands around him. Ud hogeron dolies epilethetotechnes, nor did the old man forget his guileful art, his tricky art. But indeed, first of all, again he became a eogeneos leon, a well-bearded lion. This is from that geneos, from a beard. It's not to do with ginomai, as far as I can see. It just means a beard. So at first, indeed, he became a well-bearded lion. That well-bearded in the sense it's got lots of facial hair. Altar, but afterwards, understand he became Dracon, a snake, and a Pardalus. This is a leopard, and a great Sus, a great pig. So he turns into all these various things, and then he became Hogron Hudor, literally wet water. So perhaps Hogron, you might do something like flowing water, and a tree with Hopsi petalon, with petals or leaves high up. Hemas dam das stemphios ecomentale toti, but we held onto him. Astemphios, we had that one before, unflinchingly, and we've had this expression before, with an enduring heart, with a steadfast heart, from Talao. But when indeed the old man, accordingly, aniasde, there's an epsilon missing here, it's an imperfect from aniasdo, when he grew tired, when he grew weary, knowing his olaphoia, we had that word before, it means his magic tricks. So it's almost even though the old man knew these magic tricks. And at that time, indeed, asking me with words, he addressed me, asking me with words. Tis nu toi atreos huie theon sum frasatabulas. So who, O son of Atreus, indeed, who of the gods sum frasatabulas, well, something like devised these counsels with you. He doesn't realise it's his own daughter yet. Ofra Menelaus, so that, now this is Helois is from hiereo, to take, and this is the aorist root hell, and this is an optative, so that you might take me, capture me, against my will, me who am ekon, unwilling, loke saminos, having set a trap. Teo se cray. Now the teo is for tinos. Cray in later Greek, you sort of learn it as an impersonal verb, but it actually started life as a noun. You've got to supply the verb to be here. So there is need of you for what? So there is need for you of what? So what need do you have? And cray here is a noun, not a verb. Hos ephat, thus he spoke, outer ego, and I, replying, addressed him. Ois the Geron, you know, old man, why do you speak these things? Paratropion, well, it's something like putting me off attempting to put me off the track, from that trop root of turning, of trepo, and para, turning me aside. So why do you speak why do you ask these things, trying to put me off the track? Hos de dath en neso erukamai, since indeed, datha, nice sounds here, hos de datha en neso erukamai, since indeed for a long time I am being held, I'm being restrained on the island, uti titekmor huremenoi dunamai, nor am I able, this is an infinitive of course from heurisco, to discover any tekmor, any end to it, any conclusion. But my heart, endothin within, minthune, grows faint, grows weary, from minthuno. Again, a fairly common verb in Homer. Alasu permoi epe, but you tell to me, and this is not really but really since, and the te again is generalizing te, since the gods know all things. And you can't translate the te except to perhaps take both of these in the sense of since, but te is just a generalizing particle here, generalizing te, since the gods know all things. Whoever of the immortals peda'a binds, with this is expression we had before, binds me from peda'a, and Edesa has restrained me, kel yuthu, from my journey. So who's responsible for all this? Not only that, but also, as we've seen before, we get this noston the. So this is just te, epsilon gone, and the aspirated form. So, and also my return home. How I might go. So this is how, it is a future form, but it could be a subjunctive with a short vowel. It's a future actually from Urkamai. So how I might go on the fishy sea. So who has been doing all this, restraining my return journey, as to how I might go upon the fishy sea? And the answer to that, we'll have to wait till the next recording.